Namaste, welcome, and good morning. We are here in the Asana Sana Yoga studio today, and we are here for some morning yoga. We're going to continue our trend that we've been working on from last week. We're going to keep working on those upper body and those shoulders. We've been hunched over last year, all inside, reading, maybe clicking through social media. Now that we're out and about, let's get that confidence open that chest, bring those shoulders back. Let's see the world and experience things now that it's summer and we're going into our wonderful July 4th weekend. So let's find ourselves seated here on the mat. And as always, crisscross your applesauce and then switch it the other way. Go ahead and adjust the flesh of your sits bones to get a good support system. I'm just going to turn my music down a little bit here. We're going to keep ourselves nice and aligned, bringing ourselves back, finding ourselves centered over our tailbone here, shoulders up and back, keeping those rib points down, hands relaxing either on the lap or on the knees. Let's just get started here and allow me to start my sound bell just to signify the beginning of class. And with this, I'd like for you to take some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth as we settle into our flow today. Excellent. Let's go ahead and return our breath to its natural cadence. And if you'd like, go ahead and flutter your eyes closed. And let's take a moment to ground ourselves here in class, setting some intentions. And as always, I'll share my intentions with you. I intend to take you through a class that is relaxing and then can help you to restore a little bit of confidence in yourself, open up those shoulders, and to have a energizing flow that'll get you ready for the rest of your day. So with that, let's leave a moment for you guys to go ahead and set your intentions. Excellent. Inhale, one deep breath up through the nose. Arms up into the air. Let's clap, bringing our hands down into prayer pose. Exhale, rubbing the hands gently together. With that heat from the hands, let's wash the face, and I'll wash my face as best as I can with glasses on. Eyes open. Let's get this class started. Excellent. Start here as we always do by warming up the neck. Let's just gently shaking our head, no, side to side. And it's early in the morning. No need to wrench your head along too hard. Just do it gently. However, see if you can get a little bit further over each time. Doing good. Excellent. Slow ourselves down, coming back to center. Let's start to nod our head. Yes. Ooh, that feels nice. Remember, not going too far at first. Gently stretching a little more, maybe holding a bit. Stretching out that under, pulling it, stretching out. There we go. Excellent. Let's rotate that head around. Inhale, going up and over to the right. Exhale, coming down to the left. Let's do that a couple times. Around the world, I guess we call them. Wonderful. Let's pause it here. Coming back, reversing up to the left, down to the right. Inhale up, exhale down. Very good. Let's bring ourselves back here to stillness. Let's inhale those arms up to a T. Exhale, dropping that right ear to that right shoulder. Let's use the right palm as a balance weight here to just kind of help with that stretch. Just further along. You don't have to pull. Just let it gently rest. Let's take that left arm, dropping it to 45 degrees. Relaxing the shoulder, dropping the shoulder from the left ear, allowing that stretch. You'll feel a little bit of an opening here in your fascia and your neck area. Let's hold here for a few moments. Breathing in. If you feel it, sometimes your arm likes to relax a bit, and you can relax the arm, the left arm, back down to the mat. And that's always a nice feeling. Excellent. Inhale, bringing that right head up, keeping the arms the same. Let's turn to face the right this time. Drop that chin down to the chest, placing the right palm on the back of the head here. Counterbalancing, stretching out the back of that fascia, feeling a nice release in the back of the neck. Remember to keep your shoulders down too. You don't want to kink up the shoulders here. It's a nice stretch if you slept wrong and you have a weird shoulder neck thing going on. Excellent. Inhale, bringing the arms, head, everything up overhead. Let's switch sides. Exhale, dropping the right arm to a T. Drop that left ear to the shoulder, using that left palm as a balance. Let's bring that right arm 45-degree angle. Excellent. Doing good. Bringing the shoulders down. Remember, if you even have to roll and bring them down, relaxing the shoulders. Excellent. Let's bring that head up to the center, looking to the left, dropping the chin to the chest. Doing the same as before with the right, now on the left. Breaking up some of that back fascia, warming up the neck. Excellent. Let's release. Oh, that felt good, didn't it? Rolling out the shoulders. In fact, let's move to the shoulders next. Let's start rolling them either direction, front or back. Does not matter. We're just warming up. Excellent. Slowing it down. Let's come back and reverse the opposite direction. Ooh, that's nice. Let's alternate the shoulders. Maybe reversing the alternations here. Excellent. Inhale, sending the shoulders out to a T. Let's bring the right arm across the body, wrapping it around ourselves in a miniature hug. Just use that left arm to pull that shoulder out just a little bit as we tug here to start the stretch of that mark. And let's turn our face to the right to get a little bit of a twist there. Breathing here, feeling the back body opening up. Let's take one more breath in this pose. Inhale. Let's exhale, and this time let's send the face to the front, a right arm to the back, grab the wrist, dropping the left ear to the left shoulder, dropping the shoulders as well. Let's stretch out a little bit more, and this gets a little bit of the top of the shoulder there. It helps to break up that neck, kind of stretching out the neck like we did earlier. It feels really good. It also begins to stretch out the top part here. Excellent. Let's release here. We're going to switch sides. So left arm over the front, crossing the body, turning the face to the left, stretching on the back of that shoulder there. Let's take one more breath in this pose. With that exhale, release, sending the left arm to the back of the body, using the right palm to grab the left wrist, dropping the right ear to the right shoulder, stretching the side of the arm there. Excellent. Let's release, rolling out the shoulders, shaking out the hands. Very good. Let's inhale those hands up and overhead. Let's take the left or the right palm, excuse me, drop that behind the back. Let's use the left palm to slide that elbow over. Exhaling, settling into place. Now with this one, we just want to keep ourselves straight. Again, hesitate from pulling ourselves over. But if you need to, and you like that stretch, as you exhale, just slowly pull yourself over. But what we want to do is focus mostly on the upper body here. I keep saying but. However, we're just warming up the upper body. Today's flow is just repairing the upper body and stretching there. But allow yourself to move to where you feel like it's good. But you don't have to pull yourself down if that's not feeling good for you today. Excellent. Keep holding here. One more breath. Excellent. Let's switch sides. So arms up overhead. Let's drop that left palm behind, not back. Grabbing the elbow, sliding it over with the right. Using our body, exhaling, coming into that stretch. Keeping the shoulders down from the ears. Working out to find out if there's anywhere in the upper body that needs to be kind of pulled in the side body here either. Maybe you slept a little weird on the shoulder. I sleep on my left side, so I always like to do this stretch. It's really nice. Excellent. Wonderful. Let's exhale and release the arms coming down. Let's send them out on, in front of us here. Bringing them together. Let's intertwine the fingers, turning. Go ahead and stretch out the body. In fact, if you want to do it this way, where we just bring the fingers like this, pulling out, that's even better because then you get to feel the back of the shoulders there begin to separate and pull apart in a very comfortable, nice way, of course. Go ahead and send the shoulders forward actively, but keep the spine back. So you're it's almost as if someone's pulling your hands, but you're trying to resist. Excellent. Inhale, sending those arms up, overhead. Pulling again, stretching the arms out, maybe flipping the hands over. Getting a good stretch in the arms here. I have to adjust my hands in this particular position, so my fingers don't particularly like that way. If you need to adjust your hands, go right ahead. Let's exhale. Let's bring those arms behind us, interlacing the fingers just as we did before. Sending the shoulders up and back. Let's send ourselves back just a little bit here, almost as if you're like a kickstand. We just want to exhale, dropping the head back. Let's open up that chest as we stretch out here. Let's just positive vibes. Sending it to one another in class, sending it to our friends who may need it, sending it to ourselves, stretching out the arms, opening up, waking up the body. Excellent. Let's take an inhale through the nose. And as we exhale, see if you can relax the body, keeping the hands intertwined. Let's come down forward here. If you need to release the hands, you can always just keep your hands up and behind, but we're just going to come here in a bit of a bound position here, stretching out the shoulders in another way. Feeling a little bit of stretch in the hips too. Breathing here if this is comfortable for you. If not, adjust. You do not need to go all the way down. Heck, you can even bring your arms in and sit just like this peacefully. We're just going to breathe it through. Excellent. If you're forward, let's inhale, sending ourselves back up to seated. Everyone releasing the arms, exhaling. Let's inhale those arms up into the sky. Let's turn to the right, exhaling, dropping the arms down once more, coming into a side, kind of a twist here to the right. See if you can deepen that pose just a little bit with each exhale. Waking up the body, waking up the trunk. Let's inhale, sending those arms up overhead, and as we exhale, come to the left side, doing the same as before. Gentle twisting. No need to twist all the way around. We just started. We are not the exorcist. Excellent. Inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale, release the arms, coming back down to the side of the mat. Great. Well, now that we have all of our seated warm-up started, I'm going to move my bell out of the way. Let's meet here at the top of the mat, and we'll start our sun sows. As always, let's get into our good and proper alignment, keeping those feet hip width apart. You can either do so by eyeballing it with the hands right at where your hips are, or I like to just use my fists, because I'm not really sure where my hips are anyway, and use my fist kind of in between my big toe knuckles there just to eyeball to make sure that they're hip width apart. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. From here, let's make sure our knees are not locked out. So this is a locked knee. This is an unlocked knee. Locked, unlocked. Keep them nice and soft. Let's keep that those hips, the pelvis tilted forward. Remember, your pelvis is a bowl and you want to keep it from spilling. So tilt those hips forward. It'll be a little easier to keep your knees unlocked. Rolling the shoulders up and back. Now I look weird like this. Rolling the shoulders up and back. It'll send your ribs forward, but let's bring those ribs points right over our hip points here, adjusting ourselves as if someone is pulling a string from the top of our head. From here, let's bring the head up, keeping the chin parallel to the floor, ears over the shoulders. So we are in our nice and proper alignment, starting here in mountain position. Let's inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale as we come to our swan dive. Now, don't worry about getting so low today. Not a big deal. We just started. Let's hang out here for just a moment. If this works for you, if you have a block, you can go ahead and balance yourself here on a block. Just a moment, inhaling, letting the body stretch, relax. So feel a releasing of the tension in the back of the legs here. And if you're like most of us, your hands, if they already touch the floor generally, will slowly reach closer and closer to the ground. Oh, this feels very lovely. I like to do this as soon as I get up in the morning. Feels really nice. Excellent. Slowly inhale, bringing the soles up halfway. Don't come back all the way. Flat back. Exhale. Let's place the hands down on the mat and easy make our way down. Coming into our cobra position. So easy way up. Cobra position. Here we are. This is cobra. We'll get into our downward dog here in a moment. Excellent. Let's inhale, curling those toes. Placing the hands on the mat. Let's exhale, sending the hips up into the air, using the knees if you need to. It's our first thing. Coming into our downward dog. If you like, you can even keep your knees bent. Make sure you drop that chest that sends the hips up into the air, coming into our dog. But let's walk out those feet, alternating left and right heel, up and down, warming up the back of that body. It feels really nice. Remember to push with your heels of your hand, your palms of your hand, dropping your chest. You'll feel a nice stretch in those shoulders too. Awesome. Let's slow ourselves down. Inhale, sending the right foot up into the air. Let's exhale, placing that on the mat. Let's keep that foot facing forward as we come up into our warrior one crescent pose. No need to drop all the way down. If it is in your practice to keep it going, get as low as you like. Excellent. Inhale, straightening that front leg, cartwheeling the hands to the mat. Let's take a step back to a plank, lowering down. Inhale, downward dog or cobra, whichever works for you, but we're getting a little higher as we use the spine. Curling those toes, let's exhale, coming into that downward dog. Inhale, let's send the left leg this time up into the air. Exhaling, placing that on the mat, coming up into our crescent pose. Wonderful. And it's okay if you don't put your hands up. You want to keep them here, you want to keep them down. Heck, if you're just not feeling it today, because sometimes I'm not, keep it on your hips. Totally cool. Just keep your hips squared by pushing the front foot hip back, pulling the back foot hip forward. Squaring the hips. Excellent. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, cartwheeling. Let's bring the hands down to the mat, taking a step back. Let's come down to the mat. Inhale, coming up into that cobra once more. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, coming into that downward dog. And let's walk to the top of the mat here, meeting the hands. Coming here, let's inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, hands all the way down. Let's inhale, coming up slowly, deadlifting it, using the glutes to bring us up, squeezing the cheeks. Exhale, coming into prayer pose. Excellent. Let's do that again. Let's start at the top. Inhale, let's really reach ourselves up and back. Oh yeah, stretching out the body. Exhale, coming swan dive. Very fun. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to the mat. Let's step it back. Let's come into our plank. Let's hold our plank for a moment here. One breath. Two breath. Last breath, guys. And with your exhale, come on down as slow as you can. Coming on down to the mat. Let's inhale, coming up to that upward dog or cobra, whichever works for you today. Curling those toes. Let's exhale, sending the hips back into the mat. Let's adjust ourselves. Inhale the right foot up into the air. Exhale, bring it between the feet. But this time, let's drop the back foot on an angle here. Inhale, coming up into our warrior two. I like it. See if you can stretch out a little bit more, sneaking that front foot forward so we're not bringing that knee over those feet, but keeping ourselves nice and stable, keeping the hips square, pushing forward, pulling back, nice and square. Let's keep ourselves in that present moment. Inhale, cartwheeling the hips to the front, turning that back foot. Let's step back into our plank. Exhale, coming down. Don't worry, I won't make you hold it. Inhale, coming up, downward dog. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, sending the hips to the back. Doing the same on the left side. Let's send that left leg up into the air. Exhaling, placing it down on the mat, dropping the right at an angle. Inhale, coming up, warrior two. And now that I have my back to you guys, that's awesome. Go ahead and scooch that foot forward a little bit. See if we can get a little stretchier. Bringing out the leg, keeping the hands on the hips. Wherever you like to keep your hands, go right ahead. Cartwheel those hands forward, straightening the leg. Let's come on down to that mat, planking it out. Upward dog. You guys are doing great. Look like rock stars. Let's exhale, sending those hips up into the air. Now, let's hop, skip, or jump ourselves forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, all the way down. Let's inhale, coming up. Exhale, prayer pose. And now we are warmed up. Fantastic. Well, let's get this slow started because I don't know about you guys. I'm really excited. So let's find ourselves back down on the mat here. Let's come down kneeling. And I'm just going to face the long way of the mat. Honestly, it does not matter if you're even on a mat. You can face however you like. So I'm just going to face long ways so you guys can see what I'm doing. So we're here. We're going to inhale, sending the arms up overhead. Let's exhale as we almost swan dive forward, bringing the arms over. We're just going to rest, opening up the knees if you'd like, coming into a child's pose. Now, this is our extended child's pose, so you want to keep those hands reaching as far forward as you can. So if you need to curl, kind of walk the fingers up, pulling out from the side of that body there, what we're doing today is we're working on our upper body. So we just want to get that nice stretch. So we're here. Let's hold ourselves breathing. Breathing here for 5 breaths, relaxing. And you may allow yourself to stretch just a little bit more as we go on. Oh, feeling good. Got 3 more breaths. And after your last exhale, just walk your arms and body, just the upper half, over to the right side. Coming into that stretch, as you can see, we're going to stretch out the left side of the body here. Extended child's pose to the left. We have 5 breaths here, and you may rest your head on your floor, or on your arm, on a block, whatever is comfortable for you. 3 more breaths. And after your last exhale, walk yourself right on over to the left side, doing the same thing. Ooh, this feels really nice. Holding here for 5 breaths. Let's take 1 more breath in this pose here. Inhaling. Let's exhale as we release this pose, finding ourselves back up into tabletop, actually. Let's find ourselves in tabletop, not back into tabletop, but tabletop. You have the same prompts as before, keeping the knees hip width apart. Let's keep those wrists underneath the knees, if you will, of the arm, the elbows, and then the elbows underneath your shoulders. So, but you didn't realize that, huh? Your ankle is the same as your ankle is the same as your wrist, knee, same, hip, same. Kind of fun. Little fun facts for you. Anyway, we're here keeping our shoulders down, gazing to the front of the mat to keep our gaze nice and neutral. Let's inhale as we drop our belly, sending our hips up into the sky, rolling our head up, coming into that cow pose. Let's exhale, curling the spine, coming into that cat. Now let's go ahead and do this for a little bit to your own breathing. We're just slowly warming up our spine. Let's make sure we keep the folds of our elbows facing forward, though, so that we're in nice, proper alignment and good and supported. Find yourself loosening with each cat-cow revolution, allowing that spine to open up just a little bit more. And as you like, you can go ahead and start to rotate the spine around to even warm up the spine in places you hadn't before. Just remember to keep breathing. Doing some active cat-cow rotations, making sure I'm hitting the opposite direction. If you go one way, you got to go the other. Let's see if I can even get the upper back into it. Rolling the shoulders one way. Rolling in another way. It's a weird way to do this. Rolling the hips. Loosening up my lower back. Excellent. Let's find ourselves inhaling, slowing down with our exhale, coming back to that neutral spine. Let's place our left hand in the middle of the mat, like right underneath our face here. A little forward. If you want to give a little bit of room, we are going to stick our arm underneath it here. Let's inhale, bring the right arm as we twist up, looking towards the right. Let's exhale, sending the right arm underneath the left as we drop our shoulders and our face to the mat, the side of our face to the mat, coming in to thread the needle. Just go ahead and let that rest out, allowing the weight of your chest to help stretch the back there, the upper back. Breathing into this pose. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. And after our last exhale, let's find ourselves coming back into that delicious tabletop position. Doing the same with the right arm. Let's put the right hand in the middle, right underneath our face. Inhale, sending the left arm up into the sky, twisting, holding ourselves firm. Exhaling, bringing the arm down to the mat, coming into that thread the needle, this time on the left side. Relaxing the upper body. Remember, if this is too much for you, you can always just adjust, coming up to as much as you need to. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. And after our last exhale, let's find ourselves coming back into tabletop position here. Keeping ourselves here. Let's curl those toes with an inhale, curling the toes. Let's exhale, bringing the hands up a little bit, coming into a plank. And we're just going to hold here for a moment again. Promise this is the last time we're going to hold a plank. But we're just going to slowly come down as slow as you can. You can even be on your knees, no big deal. Coming down to the mat, using the arms in a way that maybe we don't necessarily do. All right, so let's find ourselves here completely laying flat on the mat. Let's extend our right arm out to the side here, and I'm going to try not to hit my wall. Just scooch a little forward, so if I'm off camera for a hot second, I'm right here with you, don't worry. Let's keep that arm out as we're completely face down on the mat. Inhaling, let's turn. If this is comfortable for you, coming into shoulder pigeon here. We're just going to balance the weight, stretching out the shoulder from the front cap here. If you need to, you can go ahead and use your hand here as a balance, and you can even kind of adjust to find out which works best for you when it comes to this position. But once you get settled in here, let's hold here for 5 breaths. I like to keep my feet parallel so I don't feel like a hip pull. So just pull that hip up. You can even put a block between your feet if you like. Breathing here, let's let that arm stretch. And if you'd like, you can extend the opposite arm up into the sky. Holding here for 3 more breaths. All right, with that last breath, let's go ahead and roll ourselves slowly back to the front. Let's bring that right arm in and switch sides. So extending that left arm, let me move my bell out of the way. Left arm out to the side, and I'll come up to the side so you can see me. Head down on the mat. Let's exhale, turning in here, keeping our feet and our body engaged, keeping that core tight, coming into that shoulder pigeon. I'm just going to keep my right arm extended here. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. And after our last exhale, let's find ourselves, if your arm is up into the sky, releasing the arm, but exhaling, rolling over, coming back into our front hold here. Keeping ourselves in this position. Let's find ourselves coming back into our tabletop, and we'll just be here for a very quick second. With this tabletop, let's exhale as we drop our elbows to the mat, dropping our chest to the mat. We're going to come into puppy pose. So a little bit of a counter stretch here from the opposite direction, keeping our hips up into the air. And if you'd like to further this position, this pose, you can go ahead and put your hands into prayer position. So all you're going to do is just bring your hands up overhead, right behind your head here, keeping the hands in prayer pose. You may even, what my former teacher called it, the Charlie's Angels fingers as well, connecting into spirit. But let's breathe here, holding here for 5 breaths. Maybe walk your elbows out a little bit more, dropping the chest a little more with each exhale to open up the back of the body and the side there. Three more breaths. All right, and if you are in the prayer pose variation, let's release our hands, coming back down to the mat here. Let's find ourselves after our last exhale, coming up, just keeping ourselves on our forearms. Let's curl our toes, inhaling. Let's exhale ourselves up into a dolphin pose. Another variation of a downward dog. You want to keep the chest pushing down, but let's keep the core tight. This releases the upper neck muscles here, the traps. So make sure you can move your head around, because that's how you know you're not holding tension. Keeping the shoulders down. Let's breathe, spreading those fingertips. Breathing in this pose. I love this pose. It never gets used very often. Dolphin pose. I love it. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. And after your last exhale, let's find the knees coming back to the mat. Adjusting the head. Let's bring ourselves back into tabletop. Possibly the last time. Let me see. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's curl those toes once more as we send our hips into a downward dog. And we're not going to stay here for very long. We're just going to inhale that right foot up into the air, exhaling it between the feet. Let's drop that knee, coming into a low lunge. Now that we're here in our low lunge, let's inhale, sending the right hand up and overhead. Exhale, bringing the left hand down to the knee, coming into exalted warrior. Just holding here. We were upside down for such a long time. You can even drop your head if you'd like. If you're having some balance issues like I seem to be this morning, go ahead and use a block. Holding here, 2 more breaths. And after that last exhale, let's send the right arm down and the left arm to the back. Interlacing those fingers once more. Exhaling, let's come forward, bound warrior. If this is not your jam today, release your hands. You can even bring your hands down to the mat. You can even hold yourself here as a bound warrior, placing the hands behind the back this way. But we're working on a balance pose. And if you'd like to stretch out them shoulders, go right ahead. We're going to hold here 4 breaths. Make sure that you're pressing down through the heel of the foot and the ball of the foot in the front to keep yourself balanced. Take 1 more breath. Let's exhale, releasing the hands, bringing them to the mat. We're going to do a cool thing. Let's come back up into that low lunge. Let's turn the back knee, and only do this if this works for you, if this is in your practice today. If not, just find yourself coming to the opposite side in this pose. So turn the knee, bring the foot, turn the knee once more, dropping that, and there you go. You know what? It looked cooler when I did it this morning in the mirror, so allow me to have that moment. It's Friday. It's a holiday weekend. Anyhow, here we are. Facing forward, we are now with the left leg forward in our low lunge. And we're just going to do the same thing. So let's inhale, sending that left arm up into the sky. Exhale, sending that right arm back. And you can push your hips forward if you'd like. Coming into that exalted warrior 1 low lunge. Holding here for 5 breaths. After that last breath, let's bring ourselves up, switching the arms to the back, taking a deep breath through the nose, exhaling, coming down into that bound warrior here, the left side. Keeping the hips nice and square, using the foot, well, technically 4 corners of the foot here to balance the self if you need to. Let's hold here for 4 more breaths. Whoop. And after that last breath, let's release the hands. Let's bring ourselves into seated on the mat here. I'm just going to turn to face you all so you can see me. But let's find ourselves seating on the mat. Take as long as you need. We were upside down there for a hot second. All right. How are the arms feeling? Let's roll the shoulders gently. Maybe shake out the hands. Look out the other way. By now, you should definitely be feeling really open in the chest and the shoulders. But let's keep this party train moving. So let's go on our next pose, which is fire log with Garuda arms. So we're going to take our leg, and we want to start with our right leg on the bottom. Keep this leg parallel to the side of your mat, adjusting for sits bones. Let's bring this other leg, your left leg now, placing the left ankle on the right knee. We're going to keep the leg as parallel to the front, almost as if you're stacking wood on top of each other, keeping our legs into this fire log pose. Now, if you have a block, you may place a block in here to help with support. I like the slow hip stretch here for my hip flexor. So I'm just going to keep my feet flexed, keeping myself as parallel to the front of the mat as possible, if you can see that there. Adjusting my sits bones. Let's inhale. Let's bring those arms. We're going to keep our right arm on the bottom, our right arm first, left arm on top. Bending the arms, coming into the Garuda arms. You know how this works, guys. Crossing, clapping, holding. Keeping them up here at shoulder level, settling into our pose. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths, but if you need to release early, please go right ahead. Holding into Garuda arms, feeling the stretch in the back. 5 breaths here. Keep those elbows parallel. And breathe into this gentle stretch. Oh, I slid off my pants. I got my slipper pants on today. No worries, it happens. Just adjust and come back in. Wonderful. 3 more breaths. Heck, let's hold 1 more breath. And let's exhale and release. Wonderful. Let's extend the legs out in the front of us because we have to come into the other side to make sure we stretch out the hips. But extend to the front. Let's go ahead and just wiggle the legs. It is an intense asana. So sometimes when you're doing asana, you have to do a miniature asana in between to kind of work it out. All right. Left leg on the bottom. Keeping that left leg parallel to the side of the mat as possible. If it's not possible right away, that's okay. The point is you want to stack. And if you'd like, and this position doesn't work for you, you may even just cross at the knees and stack your knees. But keeping them as parallel as possible, let's bring that right ankle, bringing the hip forward, adjusting as needed, stacking the knee over the foot. Let's take our left arm, so the left leg's on the bottom, left arm bottom, right arm on top, cross, bend up, twist, hold. Parallel, here we go. 5 breaths. This feels really, really good. 2 more breaths, guys. And after our last exhale, let's find ourselves slowly releasing. Unhooking the leg if you need to. Let's extend the legs out. I'm just going to turn to the side. Gently shaking the legs, coming back a little bit. Now we are going to come into a reverse plank. Now you have options for today. Since we were doing a lot of work on our upper shoulders, it may be a bit much right now to hold yourself up for the whole time. So what I'm asking you to do is just bring your hands out a little bit here, keeping the legs extended. And if you'd like, bringing the shoulders down, dropping the head and relaxing here. This is your option number 1. Or bringing the hips off the ground. You even may sit your hips on a mat if you'd like, but if you want to fully extend to a plank, let's get it going. Inhale, sending the hands down, power through the hands, exhaling, bringing up the hips, coming into that reverse plank. And I think I'm just going to hold myself here, send my arms out, almost like a suntan pose. 4 more breaths. Keeping the shoulders from the ear. Remember to breathe. And if you have your bottom on the mat, keep yourself engaged by keeping your core nice and tight, keeping the shoulders down from the ears. 2 more breaths. With that, everyone lower the hips if you're elevated. Let's bring the head up. Adjusting ourselves, let's shake out the arms, giving it a little bend. I like to give my arms a little bit of a bend when I do things like that. Excellent. Let's find ourselves on our side here, on our hip. And if you're guessing, oh goodness, you can't be putting us in side planks. Well, you're right. We're totally going to have side planks. But again, there are options because, I'm a benevolent person and it's a holiday weekend. Let's bring that arm down to the mat, making a fist or keeping it flat, whatever works for you. Extending the legs out. You may keep this right hand here, bringing yourselves up, keeping yourself up off the floor for just a little bit here as we hold. You may fully extend into a side plank if you'd like. Or you can even do it this way with your knee down. So you have 3 options. All right, so let's pick an option. 1, 2, or 3. Getting into that option, I'm going to keep my knee down. Let's inhale, sending ourselves into our position, getting settled. Exhale, let's hold here for 5 breaths. Side plank. You guys are doing great. You're rock stars. Doing wonderful. And whichever plank position you'd like to choose today, remember to breathe. Excellent. We have 3 more breaths. And with our last breath, let's find ourselves coming down, dropping our hips, coming down to the side of the mat any way we can. Easy peasy today, nice and gentle. Switching to the opposite side, let's come into our side plank on the opposite side. You may just roll over if you like, but because I'm facing you guys, I'm just going to switch sides. So I'm going to do that first variation with my palm on the floor, legs extended, keeping the foot flexed. Everybody gets settled into your plank, holding that core nice and tight. This is not the opportunity to slouch off. Remember, core nice and tight, shoulder down. And let's challenge you if you want to do it this way. Let's exhale, sending the arms up into the sky. Everyone, if you can, coming to a side plank. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. Excellent. Keeping ourselves nice and engaged, holding that core tight. 4 more breaths. With our last exhale, let's release the arm, sending the hips to the ground if you have them elevated, bringing your arm down to the mat. That's so wonderful, right? Awesome sauce. Let's find ourselves coming back here. Let's sit up, facing each other here. We're just going to take a moment to resettle. We did a lot of work on the arms, a lot of work on our core. So let's stretch it out, right? Right. So crisscross your applesauce however way you'd like to, or even actually let's come into butterfly. Adjusting the flesh of the sits bones here. Let's inhale those arms up overhead, sending the right arm actually to the lap. Let's exhale. Go ahead and drop them to the side, twisting the face up to the sky if you'd like, to the left, stretching at the side of that core there. Oh, that feels real nice, doesn't it? Very good. And remember, keep this hip, the left hip on the mat. It's not about getting your hip off. It's about stretching out the side of the body. Excellent. Let's take an inhale to bring ourselves up, switching arms. I like to use my my ankle as a leverage, coming to the right, stretching over the right, really opening up the side body here. Breathe into the obliques, feeling them open, feeling them expand. Excellent. Let's find ourselves inhaling, coming back into center here. And if you have a mat or a pillow, go ahead and grab it. If not, if you're without one like me, no worries. We're going to keep our feet kind of semi-bent, or if you'd like, you can keep them in that butterfly pose. We're just going to arch the back in an opposite direction. So let's send our arms back here. It's just a reclining Baddha Konasana. So dropping the head, keeping the shoulders up tight here, relaxing the shoulders, keeping them down from the ears. We're just going to open up the chest, stretching out the body. Now you may also just lay yourself down, keeping your feet open here. This will open up the bottom of the trunk. And if you're on the mat, let's inhale those hands up overhead. That way you get a nice trunk stretch and also a shoulder stretch as well. So drape yourself on your block or a pillow if you have one. If not, find yourself on the mat, stretching the arms out overhead. Feeling the shoulders slowly separate there, feeling the hips kind of open up gently. Let's get our body relaxing as we move into our cool down. Excellent. From here, let's release the arms, bring them back down to the side of the body. Let's bring the feet flat to the mat here. And from here, we're just going to bring our heels closer to our bottom. And we're going to come into a bridge. So we're just going to inhale, curling the hips and the pelvis, using the arms as leverage, keeping the hands flat on the floor, sending the hips up and as far as you can. If you'd like, you can use your hands to help you out a little bit more, or you may put a block under those hips. But let's hold here, stretching out that core muscle. Breathing. Remember to breathe. 4 more breaths. And if you like, you may collapse your arms underneath your body as well. 2 more breaths. Let's take 1 more breath. Unclasp your hands if you have them clasped, and with your exhale, let's roll ourselves down 1 vertebrae at a time to the bottom of the mat, slowly but surely. Excellent. Now we're here. Let's find our knees coming into our chest. And we're just going to hug our knees to our chest here, opening them up, kind of rotating in circles. You're going to feel your lower back start to open up a little bit and separate the knees a little bit, sending each knee into its respective shoulder. as you rotate. That way it'll get out of your hip flexors. You won't find so much pain there. But we're just going to open up that lower back by just kind of rotating the hips. I don't know if you've seen any videos where they calm the baby by rotating the hips, but this is the similar thing. I call it a windshield wiper for the lower back here. Keeping the shoulders from the ears. Just rotate a little bit here. Excellent. Let's release the left leg and see it laying flat on the mat. Let's keep that right knee coming up into that elbow, opening it up to the side here as we just open up that hip flexor. You can use your hand as a little bit of leverage. Let's flex that right foot as we push it gently down to the floor. Holding here, let's use our left hand, keep it on the left hip, making sure that that doesn't come off the mat. And only go as far as your body wants you to go. You can even slide a block under here too if this isn't really feeling it. But I like to open up. It feels a slow opening here. It's very nice for me. Let's take one more breath in this pose. And let's inhale the knee to the middle. And exhale, this time sending it over to the left side. We're just going to stretch the other side. The piriformis here coming into that wonderful crossbody stretch. Now you may turn, extending the right arm, coming into a little bit of a twist here too if you'd like. But remember to keep the hip on the mat. We're just opening up the piriformis here, this little band on the side of the hip that feels really good when you stretch it. So you don't want to feel it in the front of the hip flexor. If you do, bring that hip a little bit back. You want to pull from the hip joint. Excellent. Let's take one more breath. Wonderful. Let's release ourselves here with that exhale, keeping the right knee engaged. So straightening it out, straight as it'll go. Let's exhale as we exhale, pull it the knee towards the chest a little bit here. We're just going to stretch out the back of that leg. And you can go ahead and keep this an active stretch by pointing and flexing the foot, maybe even rotating. Feeling good. Cracking the toes if you're me. Excellent. From here, let's inhale, pulling it tighter. Exhale, sending it back down to the mat. Next to the left, and let's just feel a difference really quick between the right leg and the left leg. Just by doing all of that simple movement, how much longer this one feels as opposed to the other one, right? Excellent. Let's inhale, sending that left knee, keeping the right leg down to the armpit, just like we did before, and we're just going to open it up. We're going to re-warm it up because it did sit here kind of idly for a moment. Rotating. Excellent. Let's find ourselves bringing that knee more and more to the left armpit here. And just like before, as you exhale, allow that to slowly open. Keeping that right, remember, putting that right hand here on that hip because we just want to open up this hip here. If you feel like it's hurting in that hip flexor on the front of your hip, adjust the knee, maybe pull it down a little bit more towards your elbow as opposed to your armpit. We just want to open it up here. Relaxing, allowing it to spread open. Holding it for just a moment. That feels really nice. Let's inhale, bringing that knee this time to the chest and crossing over to the right, extending the arm out, turning to the opposite direction if you'd like to have that cross-body stretch. And remember, keeping the hip on the mat, we just want to stretch out this piriformis here. If you feel any pain in the front or any tinges or anything in your hip flexor, you've gone too far. Bring that hip back to the mat. We're just pulling from the hip. Excellent. I know it's hard. As you can see, I'm doing the same thing, but it's all good. Just breathe here and enjoy that lovely stretch. Excellent. Let's exhale, bringing ourselves back to center here. Let's extend that left leg, palm under palm, palm over palm behind it here. Let's exhale, bringing the knee to the chest. And remember, active stretch. So let's move that foot, point, flex, get it going. And just concentrate on bringing that knee ever so gently closer to the chest. Just gently. No need to hurt yourself. Take one more inhale and exhale that leg down to the mat. Wonderful. Now that we're here, let's inhale those hands up and overhead. Gently lifting the head from the mat, keeping the arms down. Exhaling as we settle the head back. Let's relax the feet. the arms, the legs, and the body as we come into our Shavasana. Now, your options for Shavasana are, as always, you can lay on your back however you like. Put on a blanket. I'm going to keep my hands here in stargazer pose, relaxing open as I gaze at my ceiling. But let's hold here for Shavasana. I'll keep an eye on the clock. Let's breathe. And before we come up from our Shavasana today, I'd like to read for you a passage from the Daily Stoic. Today's topic is on duty and circumstance, and it reads, "Never shirk the proper dispatch of your duty, no matter if you are freezing or hot, groggy or well rested, vilified or praised, not even if dying or oppressed by other demands. Even dying is one of the important assignments of life. And in this, as in all else, make the most of your resources to do well the duty at hand. Marcus Aurelius. Will this make me rich? Will people be impressed? How hard do I need to try? How long will this take? What's in it for me? Should I do this other thing instead? These are the questions we ask ourselves amid the day's opportunities and obligations. Marcus Aurelius had many responsibilities, as those who hold executive power do. He judged cases, heard appeals, sent troops into battle, appointed administrators, approved budgets. A lot rode on his choices and actions. Should he do this or that? What about this concern or that concern? When would he get to enjoy himself? The simple reminder above was a way to cut through the Gordian knot of incentives, complaints, fears, and competing interests. It's what we must use to decide what we must do in each and every phase of life. Morality can be complicated, but the right thing is usually clear and intuitive enough to feel in our gut. Our duty is rarely easy, but it is important. It's also usually the harder choice, but we must do it. Food for thought. And with that, let's find ourselves starting, bringing movement into the body, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, maybe wiggling the legs and shoulders. Taking a couple deep breaths into the nose, out through the mouth, allowing yourself to wake up. Finding yourself here seated with me. Excellent. Inhale over the arms overhead. Let's exhale, bringing them down into prayer as we come into our final bow of the class. And with this, I'd like to say to you all, thank you very much for joining me in the class this morning. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and stay safe on this July 4th weekend. So be the light that you wish to see in the world. See the light that you wish to see in the world. Remember, we all have a little light under the sun. Om Shanti, 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 guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.